Why is it so hot? Hi trippers, welcome to my channel. Chronicles Travels. Yeah. Anyway, um, unfortunately, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we have been forced to stay indoors. Bummer. I know. But it's for our safety, and yeah, so stay at home as much as you can to try and avoid this pandemic and just follow the WHO, you know, directives, and praying that this thing will just be over. But anyway, in the meantime, as we wait for this pandemic to pass and we can go back to traveling as usual, I thought it would be a good idea to, kickstart the travel tips section, and I thought maybe we could just share some tips on travel, on budget travel. And since we're here to learn, if there's anything that I've left out, you can leave it in the comment section, and yeah, can learn from each other. So how about we start? There's those expenses that we cannot run from, or should I say, from my perspective, like the main expenses when you have to travel. So there's obviously, number one, there's transport. Number two, there's accommodation, there's food, there's activities, and then there's shopping if you want to shop or you want to get some, souvenirs. And lastly, pocket money, which includes some tips, and such. What I've found to work for me is that, especially when it comes to air tickets, you book like way earlier before your trip, you embark on your trip, because at that, air tickets tend to be more cheaper the earlier you book them. So yeah, you could do that and you could get a good deal on, the air ticket. Another thing, you could try and travel on low season, because during high season, of course, even the prices of the tickets go higher. That's one of the other things that makes it go higher. So you can travel during low season, and it works on air tickets. Yeah, and probably also for other means of transport, you could check that. But I've discovered that mostly it works for air tickets. So another thing, airlines usually have promotions where they slash the price of the tickets. Oof. Why is it so hot? I mean it. Now it's getting noisy. Anyway, where were we? Oh yeah. There are usually some promotions that airlines, throw from time to time. You can check them out, keep tabs on them, and you can get, good deals on such. And yeah, and could save some bucks from that, or some shillings. Yeah. Let's talk about accommodation. So another thing about accommodation also, if you travel during the low season, the prices also tend to be a little bit lower. Or so in accommodation, travel during the low season, it helps. Another thing that I really like, but if it's not your thing, then it's fine, it's completely fine. I like traveling in groups because it helps you know in sharing of costs. So like when you travel in a group, you can opt to book an, let's say, an apartment, and you can cost share, and that way you can afford to stay in comfort but on a cheaper price. Yeah. Another thing you can look is the facilities. So you look at the facilities that the accommodation offers. I try to ensure that the facilities that the accommodation offers at least has something that you can do some activities while you're in where your accommodation is, and it's included in the fee that you've paid for accommodation. So that helps because it adds on the activities that you can do. So it's a good thing. So that's another thing. You look at the accommodation, like, yeah, you do your research, get the price, get a good deal, do your research, get the price, and your money is worth. So you should at least have some facilities, some activities, something like a swimming pool, something like a gym if you're someone who likes gymming, something, just according to your taste and what you're interested in. So that's another thing, that to ensure that you are enjoying yourself, even if you're just in the accommodation. And yeah, so that at least cuts on the cost, because you don't have to go and pay for those facilities elsewhere if it's something that you really need, to make your travel, your vacation fun. So that helps, so that at least you can cut on those costs. Oh yes, also when we're looking at the accommodation, let's say you look at whether they have a kitchen where you are free to use, or another thing, that's not your thing, cooking is not your thing, can ensure that the accommodation like probably offers like breakfast. So like when you've already paid for your accommodation, you've also paid a reasonable price, and it's like killing two birds with one stone. So you're offered one meal, mostly it's usually breakfast, so at least you've saved some money. You don't have to buy breakfast, so you just have to worry about lunch and supper. So that helps. I find that also can be an option. Yes, so that's it for accommodation. Let's talk about food. Yeah. So as I've told you, I usually prefer doing group travels. Nothing wrong with solo travels at all, but I found that when we do group travels, we can save on accommodation, and also when in our accommodation we make sure that there is a kitchen, a stock kitchen. We know that we can cook. You can just come and cook. Yeah. So we normally we shop. Once we are in the area where we stay in, we shop for whatever ingredients that we need for the whole period that we are going to be there. So when you're getting to the accommodation, when you have all our ingredients, or we get to the accommodation with our bags, and then go do that shopping. whichever works for you. But us, we usually like ensure that we've shopped for the whole period, and then so that you can make your own meals. It saves, because eating out is really can be really expensive unless you find a place that is cheaper. So like we cook our own meals, and I know you're going to think, oh, we didn't come here to cook, we here to have fun. Okay, I understand that if you don't want to do the cooking yourself, you can get someone to do the cooking for you at a fee. We normally do our bookings on these applications like Airbnb and Booking.com, and that is one of the things that we usually ask. Like, if you have a kitchen, can we get someone to do the cooking? So normally the facilities, I mean the accommodation management can be able to get to someone, because yeah, whenever they have such, they know that that's something, a cook is something that may be needed. So yeah, so you can have someone to do the cooking for you, and if you need to pack, yeah, you can have them make the food, or you can have someone pack if you're going the whole day for your excavations, and so you have your own food, home food. Yeah, and yeah, it saves a lot from my experience. Yeah, so if you're not for the idea of all that fuss, you can get somewhere that is cheaper to do, too, like a cheaper restaurant but with good food. And yeah, anyways, so the next expense is activities, of course. So when you're going for your vacation, your staycation, or yeah, whatever you want to name it, of course you would want to, to explore the place going to visit. And of course that means you have to set aside some amounts for activities. So what I've been doing is I try to do some research beforehand to find out how much in terms of activity can we do for free. Like you're exploring, but you don't really have to make, like entrance fees and those kind of things, or for you to do the activity. So you find as much free activities that are you're interested in. Of course, not just because they're free then you go do them. No, of course it has to be something you're interested in. If they're there, good, we put it under the activities that we'll be doing on one of the days that we are in that area. Another thing is we usually, during the research, some activities that it's easier if it's a place where you're foreign and we don't know anyone. I feel more comfortable like getting a tours, and these tour agents companies, and we get quotations from them for those activities that we are interested in doing, and compare according to what they're offering, everything up to transport and all those nitty-gritties. If they provide all that, what just comparing the prices, and we get the best in terms of what they're offering and the price. So like research is important. If you know someone local in the area that you're going to visit, that's even better, because they know more. They can give you ideas on how to go about it. They may have ideas on how to go about it, and that you may spend less. So basically researching is your best friend. So if you can do this through, if you know people who have gone there, you can do your only, you can get on the net and do your research and look at reviews and all that. So it helps a lot, so you can be able to save something from that. Yeah, negotiate, research, and be active. Another thing is shopping. Shopping. So whether you want to do shopping, it's up to you. Mostly people want to anyway. Sorry, mostly people want to get like souvenirs from the areas. You can get the souvenirs. What am I saying? Okay, for the shopping part, don't just buy what you see. That like that. Like me and my group, when we traveled to Dubai last year, we learned the hard way, because we didn't really do our research that much when it came to the shopping part. Yeah, we concentrated so much on the accommodation, the activities that we are going to do, but on the shopping part, we failed in our doing our duty. So we ended up going to shop in day to day. Should I call it a supermarket? Yeah, the one in Data City Center, and apparently that's the most expensive one. And on our second last day in Dubai, we discovered another day today which had all the products wherever they were selling. The most expensive thing was 10 dirhams, 10.50 dirhams, and you can imagine how stupid we felt, because whatever we shopped at the other day-to-day, the more expensive one, we could have like bought so much in this specific one. And guess what? That's not enough. When we came back to Kenya, and I actually got to talk to one of my colleagues who was there, and she tells me that actually in Deira is somewhere where we could have shopped for clothes at 1 dirham. So basically what I'm trying to tell you with this story is that do your research, man. Do your research. Consult now. Don't be like us now. We learned the hard way. So yeah, just find out beforehand, where you can even ask the locals. Like they're really willing to show you around, or give you tips. So don't be shy. Ask questions, do your research, and yeah, and you'll save some money. Yeah. When you've done all that, remember to have some pocket money aside for when you're traveling, so that you can have something for those should I call them surprise expenses? Those unforeseen expenses, because we can never be too careful. Yeah, so you should be ready for those. Also, maybe you want to tip. Yeah, tipping is good. So yeah, you should have something put aside for all that. And I think that's it from me today. So if I've left anything valuable out, please leave a comment down below, and yeah, we'll get back to you. And since we're here to learn, I'm hoping that I'm gonna learn from you. Yeah, so leave your comments. Yeah. And anyway, if you found this material to be helpful, please leave a thumbs up. for this video, and also remember to subscribe, support your sister. Anyway, from me, that's all for today. See you in the next video. Bye.